good afternoon, everybody. Today actually is a Wednesday, hump day. So if you're hearing this, it may not be Wednesday. It is pre-recorded, but for those of you that are going to hear it on a Wednesday, happy Wednesday and happy hump day to you. Yes, indeed. And welcome to another session of Conversations with Geoff. And I want to thank all of you who have been supporting us, showing up regularly, sharing this, subscribing to it, tagging your friends, and being a big supporter of us. And for those of you that are hearing it for the first time, yeah, you just stopped in for the first time, get ready because you picked a good day to start. We've got a guest in here that she's phenomenal, and she's just going to kind of just lay out some really interesting and powerful steps that she did to change her direction in life and doing something that she loves to do. And she was liking what she was doing when she changed, right? Anyway, so welcome everybody. And just a reminder, please, please, please make sure you let us know where you're from, you know, what you can take away from this thing that we leave for you. And most importantly, share this message as often as you can, because our mission is to impact 1 million lives with the guest speakers that we have and the messages that I provide, to begin to be aware of the conversations they're having with themselves about themselves. Right? And 4 key foundational pillars that we operate off of. One is communication. Obviously, communication, right? Everything starts, well, it doesn't all start with communication as a result of our thinking communication. And then relationships, health, and wealth. Those 4 areas, and there's a lot of different subtitles underneath each one of those. But the most important thing, again, is our mission is to become aware of and give some action steps we can take, you can take after you're done or while you're listening to this, to begin to go another direction in your life, right? That conversation you're having with yourself about yourself, it's either limiting you or it's moving you forward. And hey, it's done both in my case. I know I'm not the only one that some days it's just, man, I just don't feel like it. First thought is, I just don't feel like it. But, you know, from the practicing and the habits that we talk about and some of the things that you're going to hear from our speaker that she did, anything's possible to change, right? So we go from 4 things. We go from I can't until I can, right? This is the message that you tell yourself. We go from I think I can to I will do it. Right? We go from maybe, you know, everybody's saying, maybe I'll do that, maybe. And you know, if somebody says, maybe I'll stop by at your party, you know they're not coming, right? You know, maybe it's just one of those fake words to I must. And those 3 things begin that whole shift in your belief system. So your homework today is pay attention to those 3 sessions. Each time you say it, stop yourself and begin to say something different. And I guarantee you this. You'll feel better. You'll begin to see things differently. And you'll put no more stinkin thinking. Yeah, that's our thing, stinkin thinking. And step into something new. So anyway, let me get where I have a little message about our guest, our bio, short bio. And I want to introduce you to my friend after I do the bio. And let's meet Lucy. She's a former teacher turned into a real estate investor. She did that back in 2019, took a bold leap of faith, leaving teaching to pursue a real estate career. Despite initial setbacks, she persevered and with unwavering determination, continued to push forward to make a mark in her world of real estate. In 2020, Lucy got her real estate license, made great strides in building thriving real estate business. Her commitment to excellence, I've seen it. I've seen her do this in the countless hours she spent learning and growing and constantly striving to improve her skills and mindset. So you're going to get some things that she did on that stuff, right? Lucy's passion for helping investors achieve their financial goals is matched only by her dedication to personal growth. Man, I applaud her and development. Her journey has taught her her value of consistency and a positive mindset, and she is eager to share her insights with others. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring to our conversation today my friend, Lucy Bailey. All right. Hey, Lucy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm glad you took the time out and being patient, right? I mean, let's just keep it real, ladies and gentlemen. When you hear this, it was a struggle getting her to the platform. I couldn't hear her and all the technical stuff we went on, but the whole time she just laughed and kept, and we got to where we were able to show up today. So Lucy, thank you again for your time and being here. So let's Lucy, our show is about people talking about their lessons in life and their experiences. And when I read your bio and leaving teaching, right, and going into real estate, two different things altogether. One had a paycheck, number one, and the other one, you eat what you. I don't want to use the word, but you know what I mean. You don't get paid until you get the deal. So tell me how that was for you, and what was going on in your world that led you to that.
Yeah, I burnt myself out. I spent too much time focusing on my job, and I worked with a population that sometimes was a little bit more difficult to work with. I loved my kids. I loved my colleagues. Like I loved the school, but I just was kind of done. I needed to do something else. And I thought my kids deserved to have someone who wanted to be there every single day. And I just was past that point. And I had decided, when I got to that point, it was time to move on. And I came across real estate investing and wholesaling and all that stuff. I went to some seminar, and so, as you do,
you got it everywhere, right?
like everyone just went to a seminar. So anyways, I got that. And then I ended up finding another group that was a lot better. And then I regretted paying for the program that I paid for it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I had done a lot of work to start saving money and turning around my financial situation. And because I was a teacher, we got paid through August. So I was able to have a few months of buffer with pay still. And then I also had saved up some money, and then I'd build up credit. So I had credit cards. So I had just a lot of financial, buffers. So when I decided to quit my job, I hadn't made any money in real estate yet. So it was a leap of faith, legit leap of faith. And I gave a literal 2-week notice. The 2 weeks before school ended, I decided I was going to quit. And so I went and told my boss that week, and she was shocked. And which, why would she think of all people to quit, somebody who'd been there for, all that time, super dedicated, very involved in the school, and I was just I'm done. Yeah. So yeah, it was, but yeah, going without having a paycheck and stuff, that was scary. It's a scary transition. I don't recommend that path for everyone. I think it's probably smarter to have built your business some to get some steady income before you leave your steady income. But that was the best choice for me, and I don't regret it.
Yeah, when I heard you, and I felt it still when you said I was burnt out. I was ready to go. I don't think they could have paid you twice the salary to keep you. Because there's people out there that are in that space. What do you tell those folks that are where you were? I heard you say, man, I just get kids. I didn't serve them. It was just time to go. What can you say? You already said a couple of things, man. What's one word that comes to mind that may help somebody that didn't hear you the first time?
Well, I feel as a teacher, you feel a lot of guilt choosing to leave teaching, especially with the state of education, public education right now, and how much pressure there is, and how many people are so angry at the system and are criticized so much, and all the standardized testing. And now you had, then throw in all the online learning with COVID, which thankfully I missed out on. And teachers are just not being treated very well. Yeah. And the reason so many of them choose to stay is because they care about the kids, and they care about trying to protect our public education system. And I got to a point where I just said, I have to take care of myself.
Yeah.
So, and one of my mentors told me, actually, he had a whole speech, but said you have to be selfish to be selfless.
Yeah.
So you have to put yourself first. So getting permission to be selfish, and be able to quit my job from someone saying, like, I realized I could do more out of the classroom than in the classroom. I would, if I was able to build up myself financially, I'd be able to, donate money. I'd be able to start a nonprofit. Like, I'd be able to do a lot of things that end up helping more people in the long run than I could just in the classroom.
Yeah.
Not that being just in the classroom is, that's still, you're still having tons of impact. I'm not trying to minimize that, but I realized I would be able to have more of an impact leaving the classroom than I was having in the classroom at the time. So,
I love that. And my daughter is a fourth grade teacher. She's still in this, right? And so I have a passion for teachers, and I applaud the time that you've spent as well as leaving. Because you're right. I mean, there's so many things, and I hear you when you say your greater purpose can be served outside of the classroom. So kudos to you, and guilt leaving, man. I believe once you give yourself permission, then the guilt get easier to let go of.
Yeah, I ended up coaching track the following school year. So I went back and visited and stuff. And I met the teacher who was hired in replacement. She actually didn't take my job. Another teacher at the school took my job, and then she took another person's job. But regardless, meeting the person who took my position for me leaving made me feel a lot better, because I knew that she had a lot of energy. She really cared about the kids. She liked being there. And it just made me feel a lot better. And I could still go back and visit. I could still, go back and coach track until COVID. And that made me feel better. And then also, I still have relationships with some of my students. So I, still follow each other on social media and stuff. So I can still have an impact that way too.
Yeah. That's awesome. Now, so what grade did you teach, and did you also run track? Why track?
So I taught middle school, and then I moved down to 4th and 5th grade for my last few years.
Okay.
Track, I did not run track in school, but I do run.
Yeah.
So, and I was really into running then when I started coaching track, and I haven't been running as much recently, but that's what got me into coaching it. And I really enjoy coaching. So.
Okay, yeah, because I know you run. Now, are you running the mini marathon? Have you run those in Indianapolis?
No. Not recently. I have. I ran the mini. I don't know, 6 years ago.
Okay, yeah, because I see you out there running all the time, and I think about it for about 5 minutes until it passes, and then I keep walking.
One thing I love about running, besides the physical aspect, is the mental challenge of it, especially longer distances, because after a certain point, it's not your body really anymore, it's your mind. Because I was told by someone, once you can run 3 miles, you can run 5 miles. Once you can run 5 miles, you can run 8. Once you can run 8, you can run a half marathon.
Yeah.
And it's true. Because after the 3 miles, it's no longer your physical ability. It's your mental.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just being able to continue to keep going despite your body saying this kind of is difficult,
Yeah. And I laugh because my wife, she's a runner too, and she didn't run before. We went from walking to jogging to running minis, and then ran a full marathon. And so she said similar things to you.
Yeah.
It's like that after 3 miles, hey, it's all up here, right?
Mm-hmm. It is.
Thinking that shows up. That for me, it's like, man, hey, why are you running so many? You don't need to run. You're in good shape. Go have a piece of pie.
Yeah.
Right. So I love that, and it shows what you said. Mindset. Let's talk about that. because I know you had to have some chatter going on in your head when
Oh, for sure.
you left school and did that stuff. Can you remember back what was the biggest thing that kept coming up that you had to just finally smash, or maybe it still comes up today, chatter in your head?
A lot of imposter syndrome. Like, because it took a while to be able to do a deal. So I had and then I had a lot of fears around like making phone calls and just like little things. And then, I don't know, it's hard to remember because it was, 4 years ago. I mean, I specifics at least, but I would definitely say the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Or like just even like because I hadn't done it yet, be able to say I can do this because I hadn't proved to myself yet that I could. But once you get a deal done or a couple deals done, it's like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. And then you just keep. And then the same thing started when I got my realtor's license. I had to go through that whole spiel again. Like, oh, this is hard. But it's like, it's the same thing. You're just representing someone instead of doing it yourself. So there's difficulties of it with it, obviously, still too. It's not like it's super easy, but once you've done a couple, you're like, okay, it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But it's really true about getting the first one. And I want people to hear that. You were successful as a teacher, right? I mean, you had success. You were recognized as a teacher. So you had confidence in that arena. Would that be fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
So now you're in a new arena. And I love your honesty about the imposter syndrome, because it's like, and I being in real estate myself, I remember thinking a little bit to the side, like, man, can you really do this stuff? No matter what I've done in the past, right? No matter how successful I've had in other businesses or in corporate America, I still had a little doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
And that imposter thing is real. But you took the steps anyway, and you got some deals going now. So life is good in real estate, right?
Yeah.
And so you've done some things. I want to stay in the mindset piece a little bit. Tell me, I tell people all the time, hey, listen, if you have a problem, go look at this lady. But at first, I used to say this lady I said, I'll send you some stuff that she writes out every day. So this lady was you.
Oh, really?
Where you would do your daily list. It seemed like it was every day that you would have things written down, affirmations, and talk about that. Why'd you do it, and how? Tell people what that is. I'm talking about why you did it and how it helped you.
So November of 2021, my friend reached out, her husband started this challenge. It was a 7-day challenge. And I can't remember all what we had to do. I think you had to drink 8 cups of water a day, which I already did. So that wasn't an issue. No alcohol, which, I mean, 7 days of no alcohol, surely that's not that bad. There was something else. I don't remember. But the new thing for me was the affirmations. You had to write 10 affirmations and say them out loud every day. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. Why not? It was supposed to help you get your energy back. It was supposed to help you get a lot of energy. And I was like, okay, I could use this. And it doesn't sound that hard. And then we had to share the affirmations in the group, and there were like daily chats and stuff. And so I decided to try it. And after those 7 days, I was like, okay, I kind of like this. I'm going to just keep going. So I did. And I've done it every single day since, I think it was November 15th of 2021. So basically every day I write down 10 things that are kind and supportive about myself or my life. So, and I don't necessarily like have a specific, I always include I am worthy and I love myself.
Yes.
And sometimes I do more than 10 because I'm in the mood to do more than 10. Like yesterday I did 28 because it was my birthday, and my birthday's on the 28th. So like,
happy belated birthday.
Thank you. And so I just write down things that make me feel good. And then I say them out loud. And then I do the same thing at night. I repeat them at night before I go to bed. Most nights, sometimes I skip that. But the morning, I always do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But I think that the longer I did it, the more I realized that it was actually really quite impactful.
Yeah.
And part of it was what I was writing and saying about myself, because when you hear things about yourself or you say things in your own voice,
Yeah.
it gets your subconscious better than someone else saying it, first of all, but also just the consistency of it.
Mm.
And I realized after like a month or two of doing this that it was hard for me to remember to do it sometimes, because I was doing it whenever I thought about it rather than at a specific time of day.
Yeah.
So it helped me actually create a morning routine.
Mm.
So that helped too, because I, got my meditation in more consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I brushed and flossed my teeth more consistently. That sounds funny, but like I like to floss my teeth every day, but I kind of fight with myself about doing it later in the day. If I did the first thing, I didn't fight about it because it was just like something I did. Because right after you wake up, you don't really, your resistance is kind of low, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of do stuff.
Yeah.
So the later in the day you go, the more you're going to fight with yourself. So I really recommend, if you're going to start a new habit, start it right as you wake up, because you're going to be less likely to argue with yourself about it. And I think that's why, people say to exercise first thing in the morning too, because you have less time to like fight over it.
Yes. I like that.
So, and you have also, if you have something else scheduled, at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or something, you only have so much time to do it. So you don't really have time to like fight with yourself about it, because you have to get something else done. So you just need to do it.
Yeah.
So that helped with that. And then I just realized after a while, I was like, wow, I'm doing the same thing every single day. And that consistency made me trust myself more. It built my confidence. Just like some small little act built so much confidence, because I realized I could be consistent. And if I could be consistent with that, what else could I be consistent with?
Man, I love that.
And then you just start stacking on new habits. So then my same friend started a gratitude challenge. So now we do gratitude statements. I will admit that I do not do that as consistently as the affirmations. I do it most days, but I don't do it every day, which I'm okay with that.
Okay.
As long as I do it most days.
Yeah.
But that's another thing I added on. What else did I add on? I've started doing EFT tapping as another thing that I've added that's been really helpful to me. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's the emotional freedom technique. There's different meridian points on your body that you tap as you're, and you can do it as you're saying affirmations or other things. I usually do them guided because I'm not knowledgeable enough to lead myself on it. But that's been really helpful to me. So, but I've learned that once you've got a certain routine established, it's really easy to add on something new to it.
Yeah. That's so
one
true.
thing at a time, though. Don't try to do it all at once. Do one thing. Pick one thing.
Yes.
And for me, that was actually flossing my teeth. And you realize, if I can do this every day, what else can I do every day? And like, it's just like one thing after another. And you just become like a super consistent, dependable person.
Super consistent, dependable person. I love that. And I'm laughing at you when you say floss your teeth, because I had that same battle. So I just said, all right, no matter what, I'm going to brush and floss at the end of the day, no matter what.
Yeah.
And I could just feel like that whole, it's as simple as we're talking about floss, but that whole thing about, learning about it went away.
Yeah.
and I became consistent about doing that stuff. And I also thought about, you talk about confidence. One of the first things, if I could share to what you're talking about, one of the first things when I really started to understand the power of self-development, being able to set yourself up to win, not just as an athlete. As an athlete, I had all that down. I'm talking about moving that practice into my own personal development. One of the habits that I learned to do, which helped me other habits, was making my bed every day.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some science. There's some science behind that, right? There's a guy that wrote a book about making your bed every day. And so, like you said, after a while, I was like, man, I can do a new habit. And from someone that was an athlete from 8 years old and trained and conditioned himself for these things, to moving into self-development, mindset, like you talked about in the very beginning. Mindset is not just athletic. Mindset is spiritual, emotional, physical, health, fits in those categories. So I've seen you practice these things for your time. I've seen, ladies and gentlemen, we've never really met yet. I'm talking about it. I'm seeing the impact of her life from a distance, Canada, and she's living proof that what she's sharing works. I got a podcast. That's why we have you on the show. And people don't overlook the fact that you may not have heard of it before. Listen to words that she said. She's living proof that they work. So there's no more imposter syndrome, maybe not as much there. It all comes back every time. But you have tools. So I really appreciate that there. So what can you tell us as we start to wind down loosely, to that we keep it real on conversation, that female real estate investor in somewhat of a man's world still, not as much. What can you share with that person that's looking at you, thinking they want to do it, not sure, as a female? What perspective can you bring to that?
Something I haven't really thought about. I'd say embrace it. Because people end up paying it, like at first people don't really pay attention to you as much. They kind of overlook you a little bit, but then when they hear you, like they start to pay attention a little bit more if you make some bold statements or something. I don't know. I haven't really just encountered too much of an issue with it recently, but I do know, like when I've gone to networking events and stuff, I have been the only female. Find other females. That's always good. Find people. Don't try to fight it too much though, because the people who want to work with you don't want to work with you. Why do you want to work with them? Like, I don't want to work with those people anyway. So if someone's going to be a misogynist and not respect me because I'm female, okay, I won't work with them. I don't need that.
Yeah.
And the people that I found to be the best to work with and be around don't either like that I'm female or don't care. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't fight it. I just ignore those people and find the people, be yourself, be authentic. Don't try to fight. I mean, yeah, we do need to dismantle that some, but there's positives to being female.
Yes.
So it's also, I feel like, helpful to work with men who have different traits than you and like balance each other. You can complement each other.
Yeah. No, I love that, and kind of put you on the spot there. I realize that, but I think people need to hear, that's real.
It is. And men can get away with saying different things than what like women are going to have things said. If I say something and a man said the same thing, someone's going to question me and not a man. I've definitely experienced that. I don't know. I just kind of forget about it a lot of times though. Because I try not to let it get to me. It's not worth my energy. I'd like to dismantle some of that, but there's, I also want to just do my own thing. So
No, that's good. I mean, I appreciate you, your courage in sharing where you were with that.
yeah.
People need to hear about that. I know it's a question that they have in their mind. I work with a lot of females, and I'm partial to female investors and that for those reasons, for my own reasons that are very similar in that space, even as a male.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of strong, positive examples to look at too. And if you associate yourself with a lot of women who are doing really well and succeeding and aren't letting the current societal structure hold them back, if you spend time with it, like they're just like you. It's not like they've got anything totally different except for that they chose not to let that interfere with their success.
Yeah.
It's a choice. It's just like anything else. It's a choice. We all have different things about us that we could use as a way to hold ourselves back by saying, well, society doesn't like me because I have this or that, or, but that only hurts you.
Yeah.
It doesn't, nobody else really cares, honestly, which is.
That's the truth.
So, and the people who spend their time worrying about that are not going to be getting anywhere. They're going to be sitting and worrying about it. So, although we don't want that to continue being that way, the best way, in my opinion, to stop it is to continue to produce more strong female examples of what we can do and just keep proving that that doesn't impact our ability to be successful.
That's right. I agree. So, ladies, you heard her. Gentlemen, you heard her. And I've seen it proof that this lady lives what she preaches. So, Lucy, how do people that, hey, I like what she said, I like maybe to talk to her, how do people get a hold of you? Do you have any way of share what that might be?
I have Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook. I may or may not add you as a friend on Facebook because my friends request list is like hundreds of people. And as soon as you get into real estate investing, everybody adds you as a friend. And I just don't have time to weed through all those always. So you can follow me. Most of my posts are public. So if you really, or you could reach out, DM me or something. Do you have like show notes or something? You could put my.
Yeah, we'll put, when we release it, we'll make sure your info, whatever you provide for us, is in there, so we'll reach you there. So that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm also on LinkedIn. So I post my realtor stuff on there. Okay. So if you're interested in investing in Indianapolis, I'm happy to help you.
And that's it, because she does do a lot of stuff, and she does deals, ladies and gentlemen. So don't hesitate. If you're looking at the Indianapolis market, look her up. And you know somebody in the Indianapolis market that you're not there, please share her information, because she does a phenomenal job in that space. So, Lucy, what can you say as we close this up with parting words? Can you leave us with? I mean, you dropped so many things, and I really appreciate that. How can you close this? What do you want to close it?
I used to be someone who thought I was incapable of having a routine, that I could be consistent. It's funny because 4 years ago, I actually took this strengths test that told me that consistency was my worst trait out of all, I think, 34 strengths. Consistency was the lowest. And I've, done whatever I could to, I made excuses for myself and all this stuff. And then I started building habits. I read Atomic Habits. I read The Compound Effect. And I learned that it wasn't that I had something fundamentally wrong with me, but that I didn't have the system set up. And anyone can be consistent and follow through if they set up systems. So that is something that I highly recommend looking into, is learning how to create systems for yourself to become a consistent person so that you can be confident in what you do, and that you're going to start following through and trusting yourself to do what you want to do.
Wow. I was taking notes, because I never stopped learning, and that was just amazing.
Thank you.
You pulled it all together. You gave examples for those of you that are listening. She gave some examples of some systems, and even around as simple as doing Flossing. Go back and listen to what she talked about in that space there. And congratulations on taking what looked to be the lowest thing in your score and making it a priority. Being low. So, Lucy, listen, I'm glad we were able to get this thing together finally. It's been amazing chatting with you. And as you grow and expand, I see great things for you. And when you're teaching other agents, if that's where you want to go, or investors, I'd love to have you back and share how that's going. I'm just planting that seed for you. You may not be interested.
Okay, fair enough.
But I think that, there's some magic in there for you. Those 2 cents and sharing it with you. Listen, thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I hope you had a good time. I did.
Yeah, it's fun.
And good. And I got a book full of notes as always. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, let's all say goodbye to my friend Lucy Bailey. Reach out to her, listen to what she shared, and go make a difference in your life. Lucy, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Ooh, hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, as I close this thing up, there were so many things that she dropped notes on, from mindset at the very beginning to some habits and systems around habits, and facing her fears, creating habits around daily practices that anybody can do. Pick something in your world, in your life that, boy, it nags at you. You got to get it done, and start doing it, right? She wrote routine. I have, consistent routine, building habits. Read a book, Atomic Habits. Go get that book, right? All kinds of things in there for you to do. Because at the beginning of this message, I talked about no more saying I can't, it's I can. No more saying I think, it's I will. No more saying maybe, it's I must. You just had an example of someone who's practicing those things and making a big difference in her life. So listen, stop the stinking thinking. Share this message with all those in your circle. And let me leave you with this one thought. Sometimes the smallest steps in the right direction ends up being the biggest steps of your life. So listen to me when I say this. Tiptoe if you must, but take that first step. Stop that stinking thinking. Share this message. Subscribe and come back and see us again. Thanks for sharing up for Conversations with Geoff. Stop that stinking thinking. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.